even after the autopsy, you have to think about, if you want a funeral, those who say that they are Christians and that when they go to the cemetery, they say, uh, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. But if you are embalmed, you cannot go back to dust. In the old days, they just buried you, and like, okay, Christ in the Bible, he wasn't embalmed. That wasn't their religion, so that they could go back to dust. But if you're embalmed, you're going to be preserved like Egyptians. So maybe you're going back to your African spirituality and you don't know it, to be embalmed, because you're not going back to the dust. You're going to be preserved. If you're a Christian, you don't want to be embalmed. But anyway, you have to think about that too. Do you want to be laid out and people come by and just look and stare at you, and then somebody dress you in a chiffon dress, bright green, and press your hair, and you wore it natural? Your enemies coming by and they embalm you because they want to make sure that people come from down south to see you. They never called you. You never had a relationship with these people, and they coming back and they take pictures of your body in that humble state because you're not there. So you have to think about that. Or do you want to be cremated? I wish I had been spiritually minded to know that this body is just an old house that you live in, like an old house that you lived in before on um, uh, MLK Boulevard. But we got a lot of them. Malcolm X Avenue. But when you move from there, your spirit went somewhere. You went somewhere. You can't tell me that we don't exist. Because it's something about us. I didn't make my hand do that. Because this is just bone, blood, flesh, marrow, tendons. Something made it do that. And this is the baddest computer ever. This brain. It looks like a bowl of eggs when you look at a brain. But it is powerful. Isn't it something? But no, I don't believe in no gods. I don't. I can say I don't know. That's when you leave religion. You don't have a problem saying I don't know. I don't know. But it's something magnificent. But anyway, you have to think about that. Do you want to be laid out in a casket and people just coming and staring and shit? Mm-mm.